Trophy, and that follows the championship showdown in the Ginetta Winter Series, the cars for which are heading out onto the grid. I'll do the grid first up, and then I'll let Paul explain what's going on in the championship, because he has been crunching numbers with one or two revisions also. We had Josh Watts excluded from a race yesterday, race 2, which compromises his point score and puts him to the back of the grid for this race as well. So that was for causing a collision, incidentally. Pole position, number 55, Jarrett Clark, who won race 2. And with him at the front of the grid, 75, Colin Cronin. This grid based on the results of the second race. The second row, 73, Harry Bartle. And number 4, Lewis Goff. On the third row, 18, Torin Byrne. 26, Jess Phillips. On the fourth row, 3 and 11, 3 Raoul Nazarin, and 11 is Henry Cameron. On the fifth row of the grid, 46, Jacob Ashcroft, and 8, Jamie Ambrose. Row 6, number 74, Kai Veach, and 54, Riley Cranham. The seventh row, number 5, Emma Scarborough, and 36 is Sebastian Leuch. On row 8, 67, Vlad Tomenchuk, and 13, Savo Solonchenko. On the ninth row of the grid, you've got 17 and 95. 17 is Luke Walton. 95, Noah Young, who went pretty well from memory in the first race, got 4th place, so should be one to watch. 83, Revy Lake had a big off yesterday, quite a bit of frontal damage. He's 19th on the grid and then put to the back through being excluded from the second race yesterday. 22, Josh Watts, who like many comes from a good racing line. His mum Fiona used to race touring cars. His grandfather Malcolm Leggett used to be a mini racer. Father Danny Watts, class winner at Le Mans, and indeed previous competitor in the Walter Hayes Trophy. So that's how they're going to line up. The championship is at stake, and Paul can explain all.
It's a 3-round championship which started yesterday, and then we had the second race yesterday. Yesterday's first race was won by Lewis Goff, with Jarrett Clark, birthday boy, winning the second race. But it means in total that Lewis Goff has 58 points, Jarrett Clark has 56. Torin Byrne is third in the championship with 51, and there are 35 points available to the race winner, 30 points available to second place. So a 5-point difference between first and second in terms of the number of points that you can score. So it's very much a case of whoever finishes at the front is going to win the little mini championship that we have, this winter series of 3 races, really to give an opportunity for drivers to practice for next year in many cases. 1 or 2 having their last hurrah in the Ginetta for this year, but most of them will be looking forward to what they can do next season until they break through the 17-year-old barrier, and then they're not allowed to do Ginetta Juniors anymore. They have to move up to something. But good news is there's plenty of things to do. You can either stick with Ginettas and move up their academy, or go off to various other things, and good to see that junior racing still extremely popular.
Yeah, I mean, there was a fear, wasn't there, when Ginetta Juniors went away from touring car package to GT package, that the entry would suffer, but it's certainly been as buoyant as ever. And every year, when you start to look at yet more alumni coming through and succeeding, whether it's in touring cars or sports cars or Formula One, because of course Lando Norris and Isaac Hadjar came out of Ginetta Junior Racing, to name but 2, then it continues to illustrate just how relevant a category this is. It's pretty much winner take all, isn't it? As you say, 5 points between finishing first and second, and 2 in the championship between Lewis Goff and Jarrett Clark. It's going to be a fascinating fight between them, so we'll keep one eye on the race and one eye on the championship computations, and it's sort of advantage Clark in terms of him being on the front of the grid, but Lewis Goff starting on the second row, number 4, the other driver to watch. Third in the championship, as Paul's been explaining, Torin Byrne, who needs to effectively win the race and get a couple of cars between him and the championship leader Lewis Goff. The final 20 minutes then of what's been a busy Ginetta season about to get underway then. The final round of the Winter Series comes to the grid now. 1 and 2 cars just needing to get themselves in the right place, including number 17 by the look of it, which is Luke Walton. So 20 minutes on the clock. Both of the previous races have had safety cars and fingers crossed that isn't going to affect things here. You've got the point for the fastest lap to factor in. There was a point for the overall pole for the first race, but as this is the result of yesterday, we can discard that as the drivers now get set to go racing. The lights go red on the gantry, the lights go out, it is blast off then, and a good getaway is made from pole position by Jarrett Clark. Not a great start by Lewis Goff, but that's a bit like we saw yesterday, and he's already made contact, I'm afraid, with Torin Byrne, who seemed to make a good getaway, and as he went up the inside there was a bit of hip and shoulder between the two. So Lewis Goff then, the championship leader, has been shuffled back into 5th place already. We've got one car that's had a spin going through Copse for the first time, that being number 74 of Kai Veach. But Paul, you've got the leaders.
Yes, and it's Jarrett Clark with a length of an advantage over Colin Cronin, who's in 2nd place. In 3rd place is Harry Bartle. 4th, Torin Byrne, number 18. In 5th place is Lewis Goff, so not completely out of it. Jess Phillips is next up in 26, he's 6th. And then the next one was 3, Rouse and Zarin. Nose to tail down the Wellington straight back towards you.
And they're going to be side by side in the pack because we've got Colin Cronin trying to go round the outside of Jarrett Clark for the race lead. They lead on each other. Colin Cronin goes all the way round the outside. Fantastic move coming into Brooklands, and that opens the door for a bit of contact, I'm afraid, into Luffield, and Clark gets tagged sideways by Harry Bartle. He's managed to keep it in the right direction, but he's now dropped behind Lewis Goff down into 5th place. So bad news for the championship battle for Jarrett Clark. Not only has he lost places, he's lost the impetus against Goff. He's also trying to keep at bay now another of the R Racing cars, 26, Jess Phillips, as they go across the line. So at the end of lap 1, it's Cronin leading, Torin Byrne is 2nd, Harry Bartle is 3rd, 4th is Lewis Goff, 5th is Jarrett Clark, 6th is Jess Phillips. Now, that's not to say that it's game over yet. Jarrett Clark proved yesterday to be a very feisty racer, and he certainly won't take kindly to the contact that has caused him to get sideways and drop down the order.
No, very tricky moment for him there, but he stayed in there, trying to move up on the inside there. Lewis Goff up on the inside of Harry Bartle as they came into Beckett's, and Harry Bartle ends up being pushed a little bit wide there and loses a couple of places. So Goff up to 3rd place. Jarrett Clark goes with him. He's up to 4th, and then it's going to be the recovering Bartle. Is it, or Jess Phillips? Not sure. We're heading back towards you.
I think it's probably both, actually. They're overlapping as they come down towards the braking zone, but Jarrett Clark certainly on a mission now to try to rebuild the race. He's sitting on the back of Lewis Goff, so teammates in as much as they're coming out of the same team's awning, but it's very much every man for himself. Harry Bartle is the one that's being shuffled further and further back in the queue, making a bit of progress. In contrast now is number 3, Rouse Zarin, who's come out of the main championship, so one of the more experienced drivers. As for the lead, it is Cronin ahead now of Torin Byrne. In 3rd place you've got Goff, 4th it is Jarrett Clark. So as far as the championship battle is concerned, you've got the 3 of them in a queue, but in a different order on track, Paul, than they are in points.
With still plenty of the race to go, so 20 minutes for the Ginetta Juniors, so it's a good long race for them, and opportunities for you say overtaking and changes to take place. But it's Cronin as they arrive with me for the 3rd time in the lead by not quite a second. Torin Byrne there in 2nd place, close behind, and then we've got Goff and Clark 3rd and 4th, as you say, but in the order with Goff, the championship leader, ahead of Clark, and then Harry Bartle recovering to 5th place, I should say, with Jess Phillips 6th.
Crude maths would suggest this would be enough at the moment to give Goff the championship, but if Torin Byrne can get past Colin Cronin, then that would give him the title if 3rd and 4th stayed as they are. That's unlikely, as Paul says, with 16 minutes to go, but just to prove that the calculator works up here as well. They come into Woodcote, and not only are the 2 leaders nose to tail, but I reckon 3rd and 4th might be working together to get back onto terms, because the gap is coming down, and Jarrett Clark not fighting Goff this time, but Cronin having to go very defensive down towards Copse then, moves to the middle of the road to try to defend from Torin Byrne, number 18 in the white car, with Goff and Clark getting ever closer. So we've now pretty much got 4 for the lead, Paul, heading out of Copse.
Very much 4 for the lead, but Cronin with the yellow car in the lead but coming under pressure there from Torin Byrne as they came through Maggots. Byrne breaks a little bit earlier, leaves Cronin just a little bit of breathing space. Then it's 4 Goff, then 55 Clark, then a bit of a gap before we get 6th place Harry Bartle, 7th Jess Phillips, and then another little gap before we get Rouse and Zarin leading the next group with Henry Cameron close behind him.
So the leaders drop down to Brooklands, and it's still Cronin with Byrne, as you say, having dropped a little bit of time at Beckett's, getting back onto his tail at Brooklands, but he goes a bit wider, and that opens the door then for Goff to challenge coming out of Brooklands, but that's the wrong line for Luffield. So they all concertina again, second, third and fourth. Fifth and sixth might not be that far adrift either now. Harry Bartle starting to edge a little bit nearer as the leaders again come up towards Woodcote. So Colin Cronin led last time by a tenth when he came over the line. It looks a greater margin over Torrin Byrne, who might now have to start thinking about defending from Lewis Goff, but if he is going to do that, then Cronin's got a chance to build the lead. Fastest lap of the race now done by the recovering Jarrett Clark. He runs in fourth place, and he's on the back of Goff, who's on the back of Byrne as they round Copse Corner for the fifth time.
Yes, and if you would imagine that Torrin Byrne can get himself into the lead of this race, running the what if Torrin Byrne wins and Goff and Jarrett finish where they are, third and fourth, then Torrin Byrne takes the championship. So this is not just a two-way battle between Goff and Clark. Torrin Byrne is right in there with an opportunity as well, although, as you mentioned, David, Torrin Byrne having more to worry about Goff and Clark behind him, and Colin Cronin up at the front is getting away.
And also, it seems as though Byrne doesn't have the pace at the moment to stay with Cronin, because the gap had been opening up anyway. Now he's having to go defensive because he's got Goff and Clark right up behind him, and that plays into the hands of Colin Cronin. So, yeah, there's trying to preserve second place in the race for Torrin Byrne, but really he wants to be, as you've said, and both made the point, he needs to be ahead of Cronin to win the championship, never mind just win the race. And Cronin is starting to build this gap as they come across the line. Last time he was clear by half a second, and this time the gap goes up by another few thousandths between Cronin and Torrin Byrne in second place. It's Goff third, it's Clark fourth, it's Harry Bartle in fifth, it's Jess Phillips sixth, seventh is Dunsdarren, eighth now Riley Cranham, Henry Cameron is in ninth, and Jacob Ashcroft rounds out the top 10. This is lap 6, 13 minutes still to go.
Yes, and if they don't get a safety car, we were suggesting we might be getting 18, 19 laps out of this. Makes a move for the second place, Lewis Goff, and dives through on the inside as they came into Beckett. So Lewis Goff gets himself ahead of Torrin Byrne and takes second place. And whilst that was happening, Jarrett Clark just dropped back a little bit just to kind of almost stay out of the way should anything happen to the pair in front of him. But Goff then up into second place. Now, is he going to be able to lead the charge to get back on terms with Colin Cronin? Because, as you say, Torrin Byrne was losing ground to Cronin.
Well, the gap to the eye is a little bit less between Cronin and Goff than it was Cronin to Byrne, but that has also, of course, with that change for second on the road, taken away any real chance of Torrin Byrne winning the championship. So Lewis Goff came into this race ahead of Clark and Byrne on points. He doesn't even have to win the race now, he just has to stay ahead of his two rivals in order to take the title. However, he'd like to do it with a win, and Colin Cronin again has to go defensive. The Cronin family, which has elder brother Keith as a multiple British Rally champion, you've got others that go circuit racing, and here's the next one in the dynasty leading the race now. Colin Cronin making that run as the leader up towards Beckett's, with, I reckon, Goff dropping Byrne.
Yes, and Goff, rather than dropping Byrne, is challenging for the lead because he goes up on the inside. That was a risky move, but he put his nose where Cronin didn't want it, and then Cronin just didn't have anywhere to go. And Goff, then with superior speed through the corner, was able to hold the car tight, didn't go off, and managed to get the lead. So in the lead of the race goes Lewis Goff.
But there is a car in the gravel at Copse Corner, and it is, I think I'm right in saying, number 17, Luke Walton, and one fears this might trigger a safety car, and if it does, then it's all bets off. As side by side for the race lead into Brooklands, it was Goff on the outside, but he's not made it stick. Cronin leads the way, and actually now he is the cork in the bottle. He's got them all stacked up behind him. It means that Byrne was back in the mix, but he's just been passed by Clark coming out of Luffield. So at the end of the lap, as they go over the timing line, it's going to be the yellow car of Colin Cronin in the lead. Second is Lewis Goff, and we go safety car. Safety car boards are out. The flags and the lights show as well, so everybody slows right down. The order is Cronin, Goff, Clark, Bartle, Byrne down to fifth when they cross the line. So the championship dream is ebbing away unless he can be a real hero on the resumption. Safety car called.
Just to confirm, it was Luke Walton. Right. You identified that one.
Just getting a replay of it.
Although he's got going again.
Self-induced.
Right. Yeah, so he's just come past me now, actually, ahead of the safety car. So Luke Walton isn't out, he's out of the gravel,
Right.
and he's going to be able to catch up with the tail end of the group. So the incident is cleared. Theoretically, therefore, the safety car lights could go out as they go down the Wellington Straight this time.
Which is very similar to what we had yesterday, wasn't it? With it
That's
might even
right,
been the
yes.
same driver, triggering a very brief sort of half-lap safety car period. Anyway, safety car called, and as
The
you say,
lights are
he's
still
back in the
on.
race. Lights are out coming into
They are out, okay.
Brooklyn, so yeah, half a lap of safety car and we go back. It's almost like a NASCAR style imagine a bit of debris, isn't it? Just to bunch everybody up. So Colin Cronin leads, but he's now got everybody tucked up behind him as over the line has just gone Luke Walton trying to play catch up. He's not going to be lapped, but he's not going to see another car, I don't think. So at walking pace, Colin Cronin comes into Luffield, and midway around the corner, does he pull the pin? Yes, just about now, coming out of Luffield, heading up towards Woodcote. So the yellow car of Colin Cronin still in the lead. Lewis Goff, championship leader, in second place with a very muddy windscreen. The same is true of Jarrett Clark behind him. The same is true of Harry Bartle and Torrin Byrne next in the queue. Race back on then. Down towards Copse Corner they go. 9 minutes, 23 seconds on the clock as they round the corner. And it's still the yellow car of Cronin up front.
Yes, here he comes then, but Lewis Goff once again right in his wheel tracks as they head up towards Maggots, looks to the left, looks back to the right as they come up towards Beckett's, but closing in upon the pair of them there was Jarrett Clark, and in fact none of them actually changed places, but Jarrett Clark really did concertina his way onto the tail there. Harry Bartle isn't far adrift either in fourth place, and then the similarly coloured car from Pace Performance of Torrin Byrne is next up, as you say, back in fifth place.
So for the race lead, round the outside into Brooklands goes Lewis Goff. He's done it, he's made it work. He's on the outside line looking for a bit more grip, and all the way round the outside of Cronin he has gone. So he's going to try to win the championship by winning from the front. He leads the race then with 8.5 minutes to go. Good driving this by Lewis Goff. Fifth, remember, on the first lap, and he's worked his way through to the front. That was brave round the outside of Brooklands, and it worked for him. So up to the timing line. New race leader Lewis Goff ahead of Colin Cronin. It's Jarrett Clark third. Harry Bartle is fourth. Jess Phillips is fifth now. In sixth place, you've got Riley Cranham. So Torrin Byrne down in seventh place. Yesterday, the race is kind of ebbed away from him, and it's happening again, seemingly, as he falls down the order. There is a 5-second penalty board being readied for somebody. We'll come to that in a moment. You've got the leaders with 8 minutes to go.
Yes, and it's Lewis Goff there with Colin Cronin's car disappearing altogether behind him, and he gives a little nudge there to the back of Goff's car as they come onto the brakes for Beckett's, but no harm done, and Jarrett Clark drops away a little bit in third place. Bartle is fourth, and then, as you say, up to fifth place has come Riley Cranham in car number 54. Leader, though, is Lewis Goff, but not getting away with it at the front.
Definitely not. There are cars everywhere. 3 wide almost for the lead. Cronin up the inside, 2 wheels on the curb coming into Brooklands, and he's prized open the door. He's forced Goff wide. He's got the lead back. There's contact between the two going into Luffield. Around goes Cronin. Goff gets caught up in it as well, and so does Clark, who's got damage. There's either Bartle or Byrne in strife on the grass on the inside. There's another car that's spun in avoidance, but Cronin is stationary over at Brooklands. Mayhem has broken out, and at the end of the lap, it's number 54, who was 6, Riley Cranham in the lead. It is Ralston Zarin in second place. It's Torrin Byrne up into third spot now. Fourth is Jarrett Clark with damage. Fifth is Jess Phillips. Noah Young is in sixth. Then it's Ashcroft, Cameron Leuch and Tomenchuk, who's got the penalty, 10th on the road. Goff has not yet come by. He does so now, does he? A long way back. So Lewis Goff trying to get back on the inside line. He's in 18th on the road.
I fear there may be toys flying around at the end of this one. Riley Cranham then, as you say, leading the way, and comfortably so. 2 and a bit seconds he is ahead of Torrin Byrne. Ralston Zarin is right behind him and he's challenging him as they go down the Wellington Straight, and then Jesse Phillips is next up with Noah Young right behind him.
Hold that thought. Replay of what went on, and it was Goff trying to get up the inside of Cronin at Luffield. There wasn't really a gap. There was contact. Around went Cronin. Goff then got caught up in it and came across the road and hit Clark, who biffed Bartle onto the grass, but then it took Goff a long time, seemingly, to find a gear. He did get going in the end, as I say, but very badly delayed. And now Jarrett Clark is in the gravel over at Luffield. He had damage. The front of the car has come off it. The bonnet, if you like, is up. He's in the gravel, and I wonder whether the car's going to be able to stay there. So that's another one from the championship battle who is out, and all of a sudden it's looking very promising, isn't it, for Torin Byrne, who hasn't had a race win all weekend. He's got back up into second and he's now the best placed.
He is, yes, and also with the competition quite a long way back. Talking of being a long way back, so is the competition a long way back from Riley Cranham, because Cranham comes through Beckett's this time. We've got over 5 minutes still remaining, but the four-way battle going on behind Torin Byrne, Rouse and Zarin. Noah Young and Jess Phillips absolutely together battling over second, whilst Riley Cranham makes hay.
So safety car for the second time because of Jarrett Clark in the gravel, and 5 minutes are on the clock. Right, there's another penalty being proffered, and it is to Revy Lake, 5-second penalty for track limits. The other penalties to Tomenchuk were for track limits as well. In fact, that's the second time that Revy Lake's penalty has appeared on the screen, so there might be 2 separate 5 seconds being given. Anyway, Jarrett Clark, very, very sadly, is out of the race and out of the championship battle. It was his 15th birthday yesterday that was celebrated with the pole position and a race win, but it's not going to be crowned a great weekend with a championship success. So I'm afraid to say Jarrett Clark, the British-Australian driver, is out of the race. The leaders then, in this very different order from how it was a couple of laps back, come through. Riley Cranham ahead of Torin Byrne, Rouse and Zarin in third place, looking for his best of the weekend. And Noah Young, who started 18th, is now up into fourth. Fifth is Jess Phillips, who had a third place yesterday. Sixth is Jacob Ashcroft. Seventh, Sebastian Lush. Eighth now, Vlad Tomenchuk. Ninth, Henry Cameron. And 10th on the road, Revy Lake. Tomenchuk and Lake are the ones with the 5-second penalties for track limit abuses. And a late race safety car like this does them absolutely no favours at all, because it bunches up everybody behind, and they have far fewer opportunities the other side of the safety car to build up a 5-second gap, if any, because we're already at 3 minutes and 40 seconds. And Jarrett Clark's car is still in the gravel and there's nobody near it at the moment, so I'm a bit worried that this race might end under the safety car. Yes,
if they don't get it out of the way this time, then yes, I share your concern. Other than that concern, Riley Cranham must be cursing his luck, because, as I say, he had a comfortable little lead with the 4 cars battling over second behind him, holding each other up. But that said, if this does end under the safety car, then Riley Cranham won't care whether his lead was 3 seconds or half a second behind the safety car, because he'll be able to take the race win. Riley Cranham, having been one of the participants in the Ginetta scholarship, whenever it was, very recently, and he reached the final 4 of the scholarship that took place, so he'll be looking forward to a good season next year, and getting through to the final 4 of the Ginetta scholarship is still something to be proud of.
Very definitely, indeed. Right, the recovery vehicle has arrived on the scene over at Luffield. Chris Alford, the safety car driver, has gone by. 2 minutes and change on the clock, and the car is being dragged out of the gravel. Marshall's being quite careful not to risk any more damage, because, as I say, the front bodywork, which had been damaged in the kerfuffle of the previous lap, was dislodged when it went into the gravel. Whether there was contact to put Clark off or whether there was some other reason, I couldn't tell you, but the car is now out of the gravel. We might be able to get one more racing lap out of this, fingers crossed.
Yes, if they leave the safety car out this time, which I'm fearful that they will have to, then one more racing lap will be just possible, I think. Right, the safety car isn't too slow.
Yeah, the lights are still on.
Yeah, 1 minute 40 is the safety car lap time for Ginetta, so they should get round just about in time.
No.
Okay.
If it's 1 minute and 40, that's what we've got left now, so the clock will hit 0, I'm afraid. So it's going to be the last lap under the safety car, but we're not going to go racing, I'm afraid. Yeah, a 1 minute 40 is a safety car lap. The safety car will start the last lap with about 1 minute and 10 on the clock. So it's going to end behind the safety car, sadly, and it means a win will go the way of Riley Cranham, and it's going to be a championship for Torin Byrne. Lewis Goff, of course, not really being able to fight back. He's down in 17th place, and he'll be a very, very frustrated driver indeed, because there's no opportunity to go racing again. There's less than a lap time left in the race now. So we have a champion in Torin Byrne after a really quirky sort of weekend for him, wasn't it? Not having had a race win, but he got second in the opening race. He got fifth in the second race, but it's consistency that scores.
So often the way with championships, isn't it?
Yeah.
Whether the Winter Series it counts as a full championship or just but a series of championship points at least for Torin Byrne, and I think he can be well pleased with that, and of course it will teach him, or if he doesn't know already, that staying out of trouble, keeping it on the grey bits between the white lines is the secret to success.
In fairness, you could argue that he is perhaps one of the drivers that you would have said should have won the championship, because he has done the main season, the national championship, whereas both Lewis Goff only did effectively the last 3 events, a part season, and Jarrett Clark debuting because he's only just turned 15. So Torin Byrne, more experienced a driver, but perhaps he's not been the fastest this weekend, but he's going to round it out as the champion as the cars now come up to Luffield, and a checkered flag will greet them.
Finished 9th in the main part of the championship, did Torin Byrne. Jarrett Clark finished 8th.
Oh, sorry, yes, he did, didn't he? He's in as a 14-year-old. Checkered flag at the ready, up towards Woodcote they come. So Torin Byrne is going to take the... now, he has just been given a penalty. So what this is now, this throws everything into the mix, because we need to know for what it is, and he will come across the line then. The checkered flag is waved, and Torin Byrne, when you apply whatever his penalty is going to be in 10th place.
It's a track limits penalty.
It presumably is. Looking on the message page, it's not popped up, but I'm assuming it's track limits, but it's genuinely late coming through Woodcote at that time. So Riley Cranham wins the race, Relson Zarin takes second, Noah Young is given third, and Torin Byrne is 10th, Lewis Goff is 14th. What does that do to the championship, Paul?
Oh, I've got no idea. Hang on.
Right, talk amongst yourself.
Yes,
Riley Cranham takes the race win. I'll do the easy bit. Raoul Zontaran in second place, Noah Young for third. Jess Phillips takes fourth. Jacob Ashcroft up to fifth. And sixth place going to Sebastian Loisch ahead of Henry Cameron. Kai Veach, ninth after being tagged into the spin, Colin Cronin. 10th, Torin Byrne. 11th, Jamie Ambrose. And 12th to Harry Bartle. 13th, Emma Scarborough, 14th, Lewis Goff. Even though he's been penalised, there's nothing on the message line to explain the penalty for Torin Byrne. However, he ends up falling down the order to 10th place.
Jess Phillips, I reckon, will take, because Lewis Goff and Jarrett Clark, neither of them finished, did they? So...
Sorry, say again.
Lewis Goff, actually, Lewis Goff
Lewis Goff was 14th. Yeah, Jarrett Clark was the only one that didn't finish. Torin Byrne, 5-second penalty for track limits. 22, Josh Watts, 5 seconds for track limits. The information's now coming through. And 67, 10 seconds for track limits. That's Vlad Tomanchuk. So it's 10th place with a penalty for Byrne, and 14th without a penalty for Goff.
So Goff finishes in 14th place.
Yeah.
He ends up with 65 points, but winning the championship, according to my arithmetic, and certainly not official, Jess Phillips has 66 points.
Okay.
As a result of his having finished 4th. So I think Jess Phillips is the Winter Series champion. 3rd
in the first race, Jess Phillips. 6th in the second race, and 4th in the third. So it's the same cliche, consistency scores, but just apply it to a different driver. We'll await, hopefully, confirmation from Jess about all of that, but I think Paul's abacus is probably correct. And Torin Byrne now will be kicking himself for that penalty. Interesting that quite a lot of drivers over the weekend from the Walter Hayes section of the event are appealing against their track limit penalties, saying it was wet or it was slippery or there was oil down or whatever. Whether they've been successful, we don't yet know. I suspect there probably won't be. If you're off, you're off. But whether anybody tries to appeal these penalties will be interesting to see. Normally you can't, but just occasionally, if there are really mitigating circumstances, you might get away with it. However, Torin Byrne, sadly, is not going to be champion, and a delighted Riley Cranham is out of his car as a race winner, and a quirky sort of a race, but it's a win. For second place, Raoul Zanzaran, and for third, it was lost the order for the moment. So Jess Phillips going to the team. I think the news has got through that that's the championship for Jess. And Lewis Goff's demeanour will be somewhat different. Our Racing is the go-to team in Ginetta Juniors these days. So Alistair will be down there.
Noah Young third across the line.
Thank you.
Cranham first and Zarin second. Noah Young third. Jess Phillips taking the points for fourth place to score more than anybody else.
Indeed. Well, Alistair has arrived, so he's got a champion on one side of you and a race winner on the other.
Yes, well, I've got Riley Cranham with me for winning the race. Riley, that was an up and down race, wasn't it?
Yeah, obviously starting from the back, it was a bit difficult, just kept chipping away. I was at the right place, right time, and obviously it came out and won.
And did you manage to keep yourself out of any trouble?
Yeah, most of it, yeah.
It all happened around you?
Yeah, everything happened on the inside, I went around the outside, and it was all good.
Yeah, that's often the way, isn't it? If you take a slightly different line, you can miss all the mess.
It's a good thing I did.
Well done. Riley Cranham took the win for race 3 in our winter trophy for the Ginetta Juniors. And Raoul Zanzuren, I've got the same problem as Paul had yesterday. Everybody disappears. Oh, there he is, I think. Just putting his helmet into the car. And all these cars, well, Raoul's car particularly, covered in mud. Raoul, how did you see through that windscreen?
Well, it's difficult. A guy in front go off and throw all the dirty to me, but was hard, but we finished with a P2, so really happy.
You are, yeah, I'm sure you are, yes. And it's probably worse trying to use the wiper on the windscreen, is it?
Yeah, I tried, but it was worse. It was very dirty and I can't see nothing.
Well done. A second place in the third race, and we are looking for Noah Young now, aren't we? Noah Young, there he is. Noah, well done. Third place.
Yeah, pretty good. I mean, kept out of trouble and got P3.
Yeah, and I've asked this of the other drivers. Did you manage to keep out of the trouble? Because it was quite a big mix-up in Luffield, wasn't it?
Kind of just powered through and came away in P4, and post-race penalty for Byrne got me P3, so very happy.
Yeah, did you know about the penalty during the race?
No, I didn't, so it's a nice surprise to find out I've got a podium.
Yeah, good. Well done.
Thank you.
Noah Young there in third, and now we're looking for our championship winner.
The nice thing about Ginetta Junior drivers is they have their names on the back of their overalls like footballers.
Yes.
So you have to stand behind them.
Some do.
Yeah.
We have found Jess.
Well done.
Well done. Champion by 1 point.
Yeah, I wasn't really expecting it when I came in, but obviously we had some consistent results, and obviously Lewis got a bit unlucky there. But yeah, it played out well, and obviously I'm very happy with it.
What was your expectation coming into the weekend?
No expectations really. Just come in, maybe get one podium, but I wasn't expecting to win it.
Well, you got, what was it, third in the first race, I think sixth in the second race, and what was it, fourth in this one?
Yeah, obviously we didn't get a win, but we won the championship, and that's the main thing.
Well, it is, isn't it? I mean, yes, nice to go for wins, but in a short championship like this, particularly in these changeable conditions, it's about keeping out of trouble, and it's about just being consistent.
Yeah, exactly that. And yeah, that shows that I didn't even get a top 2, but yeah, I'm very happy.
Oh, well, yeah, big smile on your face. Plans for next year?
We'll do this championship and then finish that off.
So you're going to do the Junior Championship next year, so we'll see you on the British GT programme.
Yes. See you then. Good. Thank you.
We will. We look forward to seeing you, Jess Phillips. Well done. Champion by 1 point in the 2025 Winter Series for the Ginetta Juniors.
Alistair, thank you very much. Well done to our new champion then, Jess Phillips. And we've got other championships that we can worry about over the course of the day. We've sorted out Alfa Romeos, we've sorted out Ginetta Juniors, we've got Monoposto as well, which will have the equivalent of a Winter Series, the Tiedemann Trophy, to be resolved this weekend. 2 races, both today, rather than having one per day. And the first of the 2 is coming up, followed by the Mutton Grand Prix Closed Wheel Challenge qualifying session. And then we've got the 2 semi-finals to edge us towards the lunch break. This race is about half an hour behind, given that we've had earlier stoppages. So whether we actually get a lunch break is a moot point. However, let's worry about how the monopostos are going to line up. First of all, it's going to be a 20-minute race for them, and on pole position, number 9, Tony Bishop, with 79, Andrew Priaulx with him at the front of the grid. Third on the grid,